Ventura Boulevard. Look at that, right through that stop sign, not even stopping. He is on Etna, and he is approaching Hazeltine here. We're guesstimating speeds to be in the area of about 50 to 65 miles an hour on the side states as we continue eastbound here. He's got to make a decision here at the Hazeltine.
Ooh.
Nearly hits the back of that truck, and now he's going to be southbound on Hazeltine, working back to the same areas that he's been frequenting. Again, wrong side of the road, going against traffic here, and then turning what I believe is Oxnard again, back eastbound on Oxnard, heading towards the North Hollywood area.
Well, this is a really, really populated area. And again, we're looking at the time, 3:30, a little after 3:30 right now, which of course kids are getting out of school. Parents are going to pick up their children. And again, it's one of those very festive nights where a lot of kids are walking around. But this is really one of those areas that is so highly populated as it is. So these surface streets, this is very dangerous and scary to watch.
Yeah, it is, and that's the scary part. You can see him take that right side and into the parking lot. This is going to be near Woodman here, right through the parking lot. We've seen him do this several times. Pedestrians out, because right now, you're right, this is the time kids are out of school. Lots of pedestrians out, very dangerous situation. If you live in the area and you have your children outside in yards, in the backyards, getting ready to early trick-or-treat, you're going to want to get them inside as soon as you can as we go southbound on Woodman, heading back towards Chandler.
Such a dangerous pursuit right now because he is going at such fast speeds right now, just through those streets where people are, going 30 miles an hour, and he's just seems to be disobeying every single rule. But it looks like he's been circling around in the same general area, JT.
Yeah, he has. This is the general area, although he's doing speeds that are so high, he's covering a lot of ground. He's on westbound Hatters, and he just turned southbound. We'll get that street for you in a second here. But he's in the area, Hazeltine and Woodman, that area there. Ranchito is the street he's on right now, southbound Ranchito, and we believe he is approaching Burbank Boulevard. Well, now he's back westbound, and that might be Collins Street, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get you that in a second. But back in the Van Nuys area, again, it's so dangerous, these speeds on these side streets, not even slowing down for these stop signs, and cross traffic's not even going to see him coming. So we are going to widen out, and we're going to lead him just a little bit left as he comes in. As he just clipped that car there on Collins, and we believe he's back on, that's possibly Woodman here going northbound.
Yeah, the way he's driving.
He did clip that rear end here. Oh, you can see those black and whites. We're getting right under him, so we're going to turn the aircraft around, getting a little bit steep here. And we believe this is Woodman again, as he's back northbound on Woodman.
It just gets in the wrong side of the road. Wow.
It sounds like LAPD guys has gone to what's called tracking mode. The supervisor in charge of the pursuit has realized it is too dangerous to keep black and whites involved in the in this pursuit. They just came back that it is a stolen vehicle, so what they're doing is they're having the air unit track the vehicle in order to get him to slow down, drive more safely. But do we still see a black and white? I'm going to pull out a little bit wider, Rich, to show that black and white. There still is a black and white behind him. Looks like a dual purpose. They have just called the pursuit back in. They just took him out of tracking mode, put him back in pursuit because the tracking mode did not get him to slow down. We're going to go back on the car, Rich, and we're going to give him a little bit of lead room because he's going so fast here as we come northbound on, that's Hazeltine, on my correction, as we approach Victory Boulevard.
As we've been watching this guy drive these streets, it seems like that made sense that they backed off a little bit because it gets so dangerous when you're on those little side streets and residential streets and just plowing through these intersections. It's a miracle that he hasn't hit more cars.
Yeah, he just passed Victory on Hazeltine, and we think this is Gilmore or Hamlin that he's turned westbound on again. So those speeds so incredibly fast and so incredibly dangerous. You can see him hitting those speed bumps at times on Hamlin as he approaches back towards Van Nuys Boulevard here. But these are side streets, and again, the speeds on these side streets as he passes through so many. We haven't seen any children out so far, but we're keeping an eye on that. But a very dangerous pursuit, and again, we say if you do have your children or loved ones, or you're getting ready to go in the car and you live in the area to go somewhere, just do yourselves a favor, stay home until this is terminated. As we come up to Hamlin and Van Nuys Boulevard here, we'll see what he does at Van Nuys.
Yeah, and also, like, if you know someone whose kids go to school in that general area, give your friends a call because a lot of people aren't watching television. They're getting their kids ready for Halloween, their costumes on, ready to go out, and that's what that's what makes me really nervous about this particular pursuit. It's just all those kids out on the streets that could
northbound on Van Nuys Boulevard. We're approaching Van Owen Street here at speeds we're guesstimating to be about 55, 60 miles an hour as he comes across Van Owen. That's the intersection right there. You can see all those kids in backpacks on that crossing the intersections and on the sidewalks. Just incredibly dangerous here as we approach Van Owen Boulevard here. High rate of speed northbound on Van Nuys Boulevard. Northbound approaching Sherman Way.
Approaching Sherman Way. Okay. You said he's on Van Nuys Boulevard, you said?
On Van Nuys Boulevard, yeah, working his way right towards Sherman Way here. We'll see what he does at Sherman Way. Again, LAPD confirming this is a stolen vehicle. You can see him driving on that right side near the sidewalk. Lots of pedestrians getting into a lot of traffic there. It looks like he's going to turn into the parking lot of the shopping center here. This is where it gets really dangerous. It looks like he's working his way back around. Pedestrian, nearly just people on the pedestrians out shopping back in the back alley here. We're in the area just north of, south of Sherman Way on the east side of Van Nuys. It looks like this is going to be a dead end, so it's going to try to get out here. We'll see if LAPD kind of blocks him in. And there is, almost took out the driver officer. It's gone around him, making his way back out to the shopping center. Lots of pedestrians in the area trying to get back out to Van Nuys Boulevard. You can see completely reckless disregard for anybody's safety, including the police officers. People running down the sidewalk trying to get out of his way as he works his way back on Van Nuys Boulevard, and he's going to continue northbound. And he looks like if he'll make a turn here, it's going to be against traffic onto Sherman Way, going westbound towards the Van Nuys Airport.
And JT, we've covered quite a few pursuits, and does this seem like a normal pattern where they just kind of stay in this grid, where they stay sort of, I mean, the suspect's not getting on the freeway. We know the freeway, it's not right there, but it's pretty close. We're
getting close, yeah.
So
he's making his way back westbound on Sherman Way, approaching Kester and the 405 freeway. But he's moved, again, we mentioned it earlier, he's covering so much distance and the speeds he's driving. He is actually within about a 4 or 5 mile square area as he continues through Kester, westbound on Sherman Way, as he approaches Sepulveda Boulevard. It speeds at 65, 70 miles an hour, in and out of traffic, completely reckless.
Yeah, and just barely going by these cars. It sends shivers up your spine just to watch this guy driving the way he is. And again, this is a stolen vehicle, and this man is desperately trying to get away. But you know, the air support
he's coming up on. Sorry to interrupt, guys. Coming up on Sepulveda Boulevard. Suspect's vehicle fishtailed there, almost lost control. There are no black and whites directly behind him as he crosses Sepulveda Boulevard. We'll see what he does here. Looks like he's going to be going northbound Sepulveda Boulevard from Sherman Way. Wrong side of the road here as he comes towards Satakoy on Sepulveda here. But yeah, no black and whites directly behind him. It's uncertain if they've gone back into tracking mode or not. But he doesn't seem to care, the suspect. If police are in tracking mode or they're directly behind him with their emergency equipment listed, he is going full tilt, no stop, as he crosses, I think that's Valerio, coming up on Satakoy.
This is just, this is really heart-pounding to watch this because of the time of day, and you see so many people, and so many innocent people have no idea what's going on. Because you really don't see, JT, you don't see the black and whites. It was pretty amazing to see the black and white roll up on him so quickly inside the that parking lot, but he managed to squeeze right past that police cruiser, but you don't see the black and whites. At least we can't really see them. What's your vantage point?
Well, right now he's just past Stagg through that mid-phase red tri-light here, coming up on Roscoe Boulevard. But black and whites did have him when they went into that parking lot. They lost him, and they picked that back up. We believe this is Raymer, I believe, is the street, if I'm not mistaken, as he's going back eastbound. But LAPD, Raymer is the street, that's correct. As he continues eastbound on Raymer, LAPD has engaged another unit. We don't want to, I'm looking out the window right now, and I see them. I see at least 2 black and whites directly behind him right now. Different units that started the pursuit as they work eastbound on Raymer. This is an industrial area right near the Target parking lot, back towards Van Nuys Boulevard here. But he's going to have to make some turns before he gets back on Van Nuys Boulevard on Kester and then back out to Van Nuys. Very industrial here.
Yeah, we're watching. And the problem is we don't know his state of mind. We don't know if he's under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and obviously in a desperate mode right now to get away from officers. But it's just scary to think about. We don't know anything about this man, if he's armed, if he's just nuts.
Yep, he just went southbound Kester, and you saw him fishtail a little bit there, guys. And I believe this is Keswick. He's back westbound on, making his way back towards Van Nuys Boulevard. We're back westbound, Brian. He's making so many turns in Air 7. We're trying to keep up with him, and the direction changes are very quick and immense as he makes his way back out towards Sepulveda Boulevard here. And I think he's on Keswick or Burnett. We're not real sure.
Yeah, so many twists and turns.
This is a dead end. This looks like it may be a cul-de-sac dead end. So he's going to come straight on with officers. He's in a parking lot, and we don't believe there's anywhere out. So this could turn into a foot pursuit right here. Either way, he's going to go head-to-head with these officers, and he is going to ram them and try to block him in. You can see that unit there's the hit. We're going to push back in. We're going to watch very close. We're going to stay a little wider, guys. We're not sure if this is going to turn into officer-involved shooting. We've got a crossfire situation. You can see the airbags deployed in that SUV black and white. So right now the officers are trying to get in a situation where there's not a crossfire. They're all getting all the officers on the same side of fire. They're yelling commands to the suspect. Put your hands up. Let me see where they're at. Trying to get all the officers out of crossfire here. We'll give you the dead end here in a second if we can get that from the desk. But right now you can see that the car, either that's the black and white airbags or the radiator has blown up. Now it's a wait and see. We'll see if the suspect complies, if he can get out. Many officers on scene right now. Air support overhead in case he runs. We'll see if that door opens. But we're going to stay a little bit wider in case this turns into an officer-involved shooting.
Yeah, but he certainly is trapped inside there, and hopefully he will just give himself up and surrender like we've seen some of these end. And that's, I guess, the best case scenario at this point.
And JT, do you see, is there a passenger inside the car? I just kind of see some movement. We're not going to move. I'm not saying go really close, but out of what you are seeing, does it look like there's a passenger in the car?
We didn't notice that. We were told there was one occupant. That's not always, it's very difficult to say sometimes because of the windows being tinted, and they look like they're semi-tinted, but right now, LAPD has asked for less than lethal force. They're asked for the beanbag shotgun to be deployed. They obviously have tasers there. They're going to make sure they give commands to the suspect, give him the right commands to come out, and we'll see if he complies. This is on the dead end at Keswick, just west of Burbank. I'm sorry, just west of Burnett Avenue here, north of Satakoy. It's in the area near Sepulveda and Satakoy to the north and to the east. Right now, this is a very industrial area, so the good news is no residential areas, no residents in the area, no crossfire situation. You can see that that's all been handled, so they're not really worried. The good news is that you were able to get the suspect stopped. Unfortunately, the officers... the suspect vehicle ran right into those officers, that West Valley unit, that SUV unit you see there. You've got LAPD Van Nuys Division officers and West Valley officers trying to get the suspect to comply.
So the smoke we're seeing is from the airbags of the officer's car? Is that...
Well, it looks more like now it might be the radiator. We thought initially it was the airbags because of the powder that deploys when those airbags go off, but it's continuing, so we think that's more than likely the radiator after being driven very, very quickly. You can see they're going to take that black and white, and I'm not sure they're going to reposition it to back it up against that suspect to block him in. They're going to take that West Valley black and white there. They're going to make sure that if that vehicle is not disabled, that he can't back it up and get out. That's a good call by the officers to get him blocked in as they continue to negotiate and try to talk him out of that car.
Yeah, so now there is definitely no way out. They have him pinned in there. That stolen black sedan there, you see right in the middle there. This pursuit started about a half hour ago through the valley. We saw him go, 60, 75 miles an hour through residential streets and wrong side of the street.
In the intersections. I think, didn't he kind of clip one car when he went straight through? We're looking at some of the video right there. He clips the car. We were told it's clipped, but it was, that could have been just horrible, a tragic situation there. And thank goodness if he came to an end in an industrial area in a cul-de-sac, and you could see right there there's a standoff taking place.
So many close calls.
Yeah, so many close calls. And JT was just saying that the LAPD called for less than lethal force. So they're right there surrounding the car. You can see them, their guns are drawn.
So look on the right-hand side. We're showing you earlier where that black and white almost had him pinned in, but he somehow just managed to squeeze through.
Now, well, sorry to interrupt, guys. What you're going to see here is you can see the officer down at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and push in, Rich, a little bit. He's going to deploy that green, that's a shotgun. That's a beanbag shotgun. He's more than likely, per the supervisor, going to gauge that right passenger window. Do we see movement inside the passenger compartment? But more than likely, he's going to try to maybe blow out that window with that beanbag shotgun to get better access to the suspects. They don't want to cross over to the other side of the vehicle if they can avoid it. So it's possible they're going to deploy that beanbag into that. We'll see if that happens. It looks like the suspect is moving around in the vehicle, maybe starting to comply, so they may wait on that order. But right now you can see there's a supervisor on scene. He's the gentleman at the back of that vehicle, that shop 854. He is orchestrating with everything that's happening, making sure all his officers are briefed up, coming up with a plan of attack, telling each one what to do, what to expect, what their responsibilities are, the termination of this when he comes into custody. They'll have an arrest team ready to go. So everybody has their specific jobs, and that supervisor's job is to orchestrate that. Right now, it's a wait and see. The suspect is going to dictate exactly what happens here, but they were going to be prepared for anything that happens.
Yeah, we're obviously watching this all unfold, and everybody's sort of trying to see, hopefully this person just gets out, because you can see the officer trying to say, just get out.
So they just give him a warning, JT, and say, we're going to... shoot out the window if you don't come out, or I mean?
Well, I think it's if they shoot out the window, it's going to be so they can gain better access to the suspect. I'm sure they're and probably better communications with the suspect. More than likely, if they do shatter that window with a beanbag, it's not going to hurt the suspect. So they want to make sure they can communicate with him. They want to maybe get a better. I can't tell from this angle, but you can see some movement there.
Yeah.
You see his hands there. There is some movement in there, but they want to make sure that he's not injured, that he can comply without. If he's injured and can't move from the crash, what it doesn't look like. It looks fairly minor, and it doesn't look like the suspect's vehicle's airbag deployed. But look at all the damage on the right side of that vehicle. That didn't just happen. That happened during the pursuit. You can see that big scrape along the right side of this reported stolen vehicle that started in the West Valley area.
Exactly, and we did see a lot of movement. The suspect was making some sort of motions with his hands, but not sure quite what he is doing. But you can see the officers making the move behind the car now too, getting into position to.
Yep. Trying to get a better angle on it. If he's trying to get out that driver's side door, maybe they're trying to get him to come out that door. They want to have a good position advantage. They moved all the officers on the right side of your screen that are out of frame to the left side, so there's not a crossfire situation. Again, you've got a helicopter overhead helping orchestrate, that supervisor orchestrate what's going on, giving him all his assets. You can be assured, too, that LAPD Metropolitan Division Delta Team, D-Team, SWAT has been advised in case this turns into a prolonged standoff. I'm sure K-9 is on the way as well. It's even though this is just a stolen vehicle suspect, it's very uncertain if it's armed with that. They don't have that information, so they have to treat everything as if the suspect may be armed. As you can see, that supervisor is calling him out. There may be some activity here. We saw some more motion in the actual cab of the car here. We'll see what happens next here as they wait to see the suspect comes out.
Yeah, JT, and of course they're going to call out. They're going to call out reinforcements because many times when the suspect is kind of caught, they give up. But this person.
Okay, here comes the baton. Sorry to interrupt. Here comes the baton. They're going to smash the windows.
Ooh.
Try to get better access, get the less than lethal beanbag up, and they are deploying rounds in there, striking him with beanbound rounds. That's not a shotgun, that is a beanbag shotgun, trying to get him incapacitated. Now you see that officer trying to get in on the left side. They're going to smash the driver's side now with that PR-24 baton, break that glass, and make access to that suspect, and see if they can't pull him out. They've seen his hands. They're going to pull him out very carefully, and you'll see the arrest team, we're going to push back and push in tightly. He looks like he's complying, going with the program, push in there, and putting his hands behind his back, and he looks like he's complying. They have a taser contact next to him. They haven't deployed that, but you can see that green taser in that officer's hands up against his back in case he does start to get defiant or combative. They can use that taser on a close contact. Looks like the suspect's in custody. Appears to be male white, and code 4, no further assistance needed. A job well done by both LAPD West Valley officers, Van Nuys officers, and LAPD Air Support Division. Luckily, no one was hurt or killed in this very dangerous pursuit.
And it certainly was a miracle that nobody was hurt in this pursuit that we've been watching for half an hour.
Kidding,
fast speeds, wrong way driving, side swiping cars, very reckless pursuit. But thankfully, it's over. And like you said, Colleen, on a an industrial area, not where some busy residential street.
Out of harm's way for all the pedestrians. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay. Now, apparently the suspect has some facial lacerations. You can see LAPD trying to treat him. They've called for LA Fire Department and ambulance to come in into the scene. Their primary concern right now is the safety and well-being of that suspect in their custody. You can see that they're applying, they've got some alcohol wipes. They want to get him treated as soon as possible. So they're going to clear that car, which they've already done, and they can make sure the LA Fire Department gets in and gives him the treatment necessary for what they describe as a laceration to the face.
Good job, JT and R7HD. Thank you much, and we'll be right back.